What you need a dress for? Where you going?
I need a dress so I can go to the mall.
The mall? You wearing a gown to the mall?
Yeah. Oh, this is perfect. This is perfect.
Or so we thought it was perfect, but I ended up having to remake the whole dress. Let's talk about it. Hey fellow designers, it's Karen of Made by Karen M reporting to you live from Prom Dress Central. And today I am in the midst of a disaster. I made an entire dress, was doing the finishing touches, and then I realized that the glimmer knit material was very poor quality and it was wearing thin on certain areas. Even though I lined it, the glitter material was literally like rubbing off and turning white. So I couldn't in clear conscience send this dress to my client, so I went just now and bought 6 more yards of fabric. The one that I had before was white underneath. This one is the one that has the black underneath, and we all hate the glimmer knit, but this is the devil that I do know. The other fabric, I did everything right, and it still was like not performing as it should. So I'm literally about to pull an all-nighter and remake the entire dress using this fabric. I did have to update my client because they were hoping that the dress would be finished today, and it kind of was, but I can't send them a bad quality dress. So here we are, starting over, and I thought that I would let you guys watch the journey. If you're new here, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, share this video with a friend that may be interested in my content. Join my Facebook group, Karen M Sewing Patterns. Follow me on Instagram at Karen M_sewing patterns. And check out my beginner-friendly sewing patterns at etsy.com/shop/made by Karen M. And if I sound sad, it's because I am, and I feel very, 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 very discouraged right now. But I feel good because I see my client just texted me and they're not panicking, but I would understand if they would be. I feel really discouraged right now. I've been trying to like stay ahead of everything. My orders are kind of piling up, and this is not an ideal situation at all. Like, starting a whole entire dress over is not what I planned to do right now. And yeah, let's get started. Okay, so it's like 9:30. I just took a little breather, went and got some dinner. I'm not going to rush. I'm going to take my time. I'm going to do some test stitches because I went to Joann and I got these 2 different needles. I got Microtex and vinyl non-stick needles. And I've never used these before, but I've heard that they could be appropriate for this fabric. This is the glimmer knit fabric. And I feel like I got my process of sewing with this fabric down pretty good last year. I had some people wear dresses in this fabric and they didn't have any issues. I sewed with a zigzag stitch, serged, and did a straight stitch, and there were no issues. But I do want to see what this non-stick needle does and see if this Microtex needle helps. And I also rub my needle down with Vaseline every few stitches to make sure that the thread is going through as it's supposed to. But I'm just going to do some practice stitches on this and see which needle I want to use so that I can make sure I get it right from the beginning. So the non-stick needle was a fail. This is what it did. It was cool for the first few stitches, and then hella skipping, and that's not going to work. So this is what the other side looks like. It looks like I did a straight stitch and it had some erratic zigzag ones. Kind of like when you buy regular fries and you get like 2 curly fries in your bag. That's what this was giving. So I'm going to save those for another time. I'm going to try my Microtex needle with the Vaseline. And I feel like last year I used a regular stretch needle, but I did buy these $8 needles. So I really want to try this. And see how it works. All right, so I got the micro text needle in, and I'm just going to get a little Vaseline. The flecks in here are blue Glimmer knit from last year. So I just rub the machine down, or the needle down, and let's do this second test run. I should have did it without the Vaseline, but I just don't feel right sewing this without it, so. And it came out almost perfect. That's probably maybe a tension issue or something where that stitch was skipped. So let's look at the seam. This is a part of quality checking that everybody needs to do. I do not like that you can see the stitches. So that's why on top of doing this zigzag stitch, I also do a straight stitch. And it makes it take longer, the work, but you cannot put a price on your work being secure. Well, actually, I can put a price. This is a $1,000 dress that we're making, so. I try to do the straight stitch on top of the zigzag, but I was a little off there. I do have a camera in front of my face. So see the straight stitch, you can't really see those stitches. So I feel like that's gonna be my best bet. Okay, so just like I did last year.
The next one is separate. Hey guys.
And she got homework. Anywho, I was saying just like I did last year, I'm going to do a straight stitch. I'm going to go over it with a zigzag stitch, and then I'm going to serge. And that's my strategy. So this video might actually serve as a little tutorial for my next pattern, since I'm going to be showing you guys how to make this dress. So here is my original pattern. It's like a basic bodice, but with a halter collar, but it's not a halter, if that makes sense. And so I cut this for the mesh, and then I take that away and cut this for the solid portion that covers the mesh. So let me take this back together real quick so that I can cut my mesh out. All right, so we got our pattern back together. Let's cut out our mesh. So I'm gonna be cutting this out on a double fold so that I can get one symmetrical piece and two half pieces. This is my illusion mesh, purchased locally from Fabrictopia in Houston. So I folded it in half, and then I'm folding it in half again. I'm trying to work fast, but also trying to take my time, because I've already lost so much time on this dress. And I cannot afford to make any more mistakes. Financially, time-wise, mentally, I'm over it. But I feel really optimistic about this one. Okay, so now that I have this laid out, and I hope y'all can tell what I'm doing with the angle of the camera, I'm gonna go ahead and cut. So I got that cut out. And so now I have to trim the back pieces. So one of these is gonna be our front piece. And then these, I'm gonna cut in half. And I'm gonna cut an inch off of the center back for the sway back adjustment. Let me move the camera so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting off an inch from the center back, and it's just gonna taper down there. So it's gonna, a diagonal line 1 inch up. That's for your sway back adjustment. Then I'm gonna take my scissors and cut that so that is 2 pieces. All right, first I'm gonna trim this inch off for the sway back adjustment. Now, one of my back pieces, the left piece, is not going to be mesh. It's going to be the glimmer knit. So I'm going to use this as a template to cut that other piece out. Here's our one see-through back piece. The right side is going to be glimmer knit, actually. So let me put these to the side. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is cut out this bust piece, so I can use that as a template. I'm gonna cut this and retaped it so many times. So I can use this as a template to cut my glimmer knit. Now I can't guarantee that by the time this becomes a pattern, it's gonna be exactly the same, because I do have to put like a, not even a real dart, a little fake dart in the mesh to make it lay correctly on the body. And I kind of want to figure out a better way to do that. But, so I'm taking my glimmer knit. Make sure that you have it laying to where it is stretching horizontally. I'm going to fold it over. And I'm going to pin my fabric.
Don't be timid when you in it, love upon it, leave alone, leave it. I don't want no glitter, baby, spraying like you need it. So fine, it's like it, baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby, come and get this. Six and light, so it's like it, baby, give it all you got.
Okay, so now I'm going to take my full mesh piece, lay it out in front of me on a table, and I'm going to place my solid fabric cutouts on top of it. This is how we do mesh cutouts. They're not actually cutouts. The solid fabric is what the cutout is, and the mesh is a full piece. Now these look a little big because they have seam allowance included on the inside. What I'm about to do is turn this under along the raw edge and pin it into place all the way around so that it looks nice and neat. Before I do that, I'm going to pin the edges in place first, the outside edges, and that way I know the placement is correct.
Get the right stuff. Why you texting me? You know I won't reply. Why you ain't fuck with me when I wasn't this fly? Now I'm on top and now I'm riding sky high. Don't need nobody, but I take you down tonight. And now I'm okay with being nasty.
Okay, so now that I have the panels pinned down, I'm gonna head over to my machine and I'm gonna do a straight stitch around the very edge of these folds, as well as around the edge of the bodice in general, so that I can stitch these into place. Okay, so another thing that I do with this is I create quote unquote a fake dart. The way it lays on the body, it's going to gape. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to fold it under by like an inch and just top stitch that down. See how it looks on the back? And that should help it fit better. I'm sorry that my hands are ashy, you guys. It's been a really long day. Let's see. All right, so this is what my little fake darts look like. And I'm gonna top stitch these down. And hopefully I did them right. I sewed down my darts and now I'm cutting out that bodice piece of glimmer knit for the back. And now I'm assembling the top bodice. So that front panel that I did, I'm pinning it to the back mesh bodice and the back glimmer net bodice. I'm just sewing it together using a zigzag stitch and a straight stitch, and making sure I rub down my needle with Vaseline so the stitches don't skip. And then I also serged it for good measure. Okay, so now that we got everything sewn together, we need to get rid of this. You don't want this to show on your mesh. So what I do is simply fold that seam allowance back so that it is covering the solid part, and top stitch it down with a straight stitch. I hate when I see mesh looks where you can see the seam allowance like behind the mesh. Like, that's not what we should be doing.
Eyes on me, apply. Get it, don't be timid when you in it, fly. Love a ball, live alone, leave it.
You can do the same on the other side if you want. I'm going to, just for uniformity purposes, but it's up to you. Now I'm cutting out my collar piece. Self-drafted this based on her neck measurement. I apologize for the fact that my camera is moving. This was when my tripod thingy was like breaking. But basically I just sewed the collar together along the long edges, right sides together, and then flipped it out, inside out. Come and get this. Takes a lot to it, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a tough cookie, baby. Get the right side. Pop it, baby. Twist it, honey. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming. Ooh, keep it running. Leave it messy. Go ahead and live in it. Swim up in it. Oh, pop it, baby. Twist it, honey. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming. Ooh. Now with the bodice laid right side up on the table, I'm just finding the center of the neck area, and then I'm pinning the collar onto it so that I can sew it down. Not only am I pinning the collar to the front neckline, I'm also pinning it to the back neckline. And that way we have a full collar that wraps all the way around the dress. I guess that's why you like it, baby. Come and get this. Takes a lot to it, baby. Give it all you got. I'm a tough cookie, baby. Get the right stuff. So I have attached the collar, and we are a little bit closer to being done with the bodice. Now we have to do our fun little shoulder action piece. So let's move on to that. So here is the shape of the piece I created for the pattern for what I call the shoulder action piece. It is black on one side of the fabric, so I did double the fabric. I'm pinning it together. I don't want any black to be visible on the dress, so now I'm just sewing the two pieces together so they can function as one. Okay, so now we're going to be putting our horsehair into this shoulder action piece. And I usually do not like 3-inch horsehair, but it's actually perfect for what we're about to do here. So we're gonna do our normal method of covering the horsehair, except in this case, I'm going to be using 2 layers of horsehair. I meant 2 layers. I want it to be thicker because I really do not want the edges of the horsehair braid sticking the client. You got to be a little bit more conscious about it because this is going in their clothes. It's going to be directly touching their body, not like, you know, just in the train. So 2 layers. When I did the dress the first time, I covered the end of the horsehair with elastic because it was super thick, but I cannot find my elastic right now. So we're going to keep it moving with what we have. So then you want to fold this over. Cut this a little bit. You fold this over like that. Fold that down. And it's a little bit bulky, but we gotta do what we gotta do to make sure that we aren't scratching our client up with their garment.
Why you ain't fuck with me when I wasn't this fly? Now I'm on top and now I'm riding sky high. Don't need nobody, but I break you down tonight. And now I'm okay with being nasty. Too fucking hot.
We're gonna begin sewing the horsehair into the edge of our garment. Okay, so this is the back of it because it's where that extra little tab is. So this is the right side. So we're gonna start the horsehair like here. Give it about maybe 3/4 of an inch from the bottom because this is bulky. We're not gonna sew all that into our seam, our waist seam. Just let this start a little bit outside of that. Just gonna do a couple pins and then freehand it.
Eyes on me, apply. Yeah, don't be timid when you in it fly. Love a ball, live alone, leave it. Say, I don't want no good, baby, spraying like you mean it so fine. It's spicy, baby, jump up on this. I guess that's why you like it, baby, come and get this. Takes a lot to it.
You guys know the drill with the horsehair. Once you get close to the edge, you gotta stop and cover the other end. So, going to see how long this needs to be and cut. Again, we want to leave about 3/4 of an inch. Snip. We're done with that. And I'm going to do the same thing with the double layer.
Give it all you got. I'm a dove for you, baby. Get the right side. Love it, baby. Twist it, honey. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming.
Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is take some 14 gauge wire. I got this from Hobby Lobby on the aisle with the jewelry. Why did I say jewelry? Jewelry. On the aisle with the jewelry at Hobby Lobby, you can find 14 gauge wire. It's very, very, very thick. Very thick. This is the thickest I was able to find. And I wanted this because I felt like it would be good for the structure of the shoulder action piece. So I measured the area of the edge of the shoulder piece from here to here, because again, we're not sewing all this bulky stuff into the seams. So I got 31 inches, so I'm gonna do really more like 30.5, but I think 31 is saved. So I'm gonna do a total of 33 inches because I want to have enough to fold the wire back so that it's not sharp and poking out of the dress. Okay, so that 33-inch mark is right here. Let me grab my wire cutters. And I don't want to use my good scissors to cut this, but I legit don't have time to go around looking for other scissors. So it is what it is. But by all means, if you have wire cutters, you need to use those. I'm sorry. All right, so I'm going to just take the bottom inch or so of the wire and fold it back like this so that there's a rounded edge. I wonder if I can use my pliers to squeeze it more. That's better. And then I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And I'm gonna let the pointy part be sticking up so that it's on the outside of the shoulder action piece. What we're gonna do is take this and stick it into the edge of the horsehair. Look at that structure coming in. Okay, so once you insert it, if you measured right, your wire should not be sticking out. It should be fully inside of your shoulder action piece. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a straight stitch underneath where the wire is to prevent it from being able to move. Be careful with this because if you accidentally go through your wire, you really could break your needle or something like that. Let's see how that is. Okay, I put a stitch there. The wire isn't going anywhere. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side. Just a straight stitch going straight across under the wire. So I'm just going like this. Okay, so now we have our shoulder piece and it is nice and structured. And you can like play around with the shape of it once it is sewn to the dress, but so far this is what we got. Just put it on my shoulder so you guys can see what it's giving. It's giving classy, elegant, like first lady vibes. I just love it. I actually might like this one better than the first one. Now we're gonna attach it. So we're gonna attach the shoulder piece to our back of our garment. Zoom out a little bit so y'all can see. So here's the back of our bodice. Now I'm going to pin the shoulder piece along the center back.
Ooh, keep it running, leave it messy. Go ahead and live in it. Swim up in it. Oh, love it, baby. Twist it, loving. Do it like you mean it, darling. Keep it coming. Ooh, keep it running, leave it messy. Go ahead and live in it. Swim up in it. Oh, keep your eyes on me, apply. Hit it, don't be timid when you in it light.
2 in the morning, I really just want to have the top done before I go to bed. So I have a long day ahead of me tomorrow. Okay, so then with that being folded under there, I'm gonna fold this under as well. Well, let me flip to the front real quick. On the front, we're going to start pinning from the bottom. And you're just going to fold this over to hide the raw edge and pin it right on top or slightly, you know, on the outside of this bust covering. I feel pretty good about how tonight went. I feel like if I had the lining, I could have maybe pushed through and just, you know, pulled the all-nighter and got the dress done. But I think it's for the best that I finish tomorrow. I might have to put this on a mannequin to finish pinning this. I think I will. No, I always gotta pin some appliques on there just so I can see. Man, this actually might be more sparkly than the original gold. The original gold was pretty sparkly, but I honestly feel like, oh my God, look at that. I honestly feel like I like this better. Maybe it was God that made the other fabric be bad, because this is looking real good. I forgot to record, but right now what I'm doing is I'm top stitching the shoulder piece down to the actual dress. I think maybe the reason that my mesh was kind of wrinkly in the neck area was because I made my collar bigger. So hopefully that's the reason, and it'll look better on a person. But we're about the same size, so I'm gonna wrap it around my own neck and see. So I'm finishing sewing the long side of the shoulder piece down, going over the bust. And then once I got to the bottom of that, which is the waistline of the bodice, then I'm going to turn it sideways so I could sew the bottom of the shoulder piece to the waistline of the bodice. Again, be very careful right here because you're going to be getting near your wire. And I'm just adding another stitch to even further secure that wire in place. But this is what we got. It's together. Okay, so I forgot that I was supposed to be recording. It's about noon. I went to the fabric store and got my lining material, and I'm getting ready to cut. So I have my glimmer knit laid out on the fold and my lining right on top of it, so I'm cutting out both at the same time. What I am doing down here, which it might be difficult for y'all to see, I'm going to be cutting an extra 5 inches at the bottom of my mermaid pattern because my client is 5'6", and usually if someone is taller than like 5'2", 5'3", 5'4", I will add a little bit of extra inches. I did put the dress on the mannequin and showed it to my client, and I had the mannequin like extended to her actual height, including like heel length, and she liked it, but I still felt like it could have been a few inches longer, so I added 6 inches to this one. You know, just because I am being forced to do a do-over anyway, I said why not. 6 inches is going to add a little bit of extra drama, but not too much to the point that the dress is going to look way longer. And I'm also probably going to add like 6 to 10 inches to the back as well. Well, maybe just 5 inches because I felt like the back looked pretty good. But yeah, I'm cutting this out. This is my front piece. And this time I'm going to remember that I have a split, because last time I literally had sewed the whole dress together or the whole skirt together, put the horsehair and everything. And I didn't remember that I had a split, so I had to do the split after I had installed my horsehair, which was crazy. I made it work, but this time I'm gonna do it in the proper order. Now the thing about this pattern is when you extend it, it does become more narrow. As you can see, I have it folded back by a couple inches because I'm making it longer. It has to be narrow so that it can still reach the edge of the fabric. And I marked my extra 6 inches down here with some pins so I know where to cut. My client is about a medium, and with this being glimmer knit and less stretchy, I'm cutting a large. It's a little bit less stretchy, so instead of doing our usual 85% and doing the pattern at, you know, her size, we go one size up, so she gets more of a 90% scale. I'm gonna cut my godets last because I bought extra fabric and I want to see if I'll be able to cut my godets whole. Alright, so having this, I'm gonna just move this to the side and extend my fabric, and I'll use this as a template to cut out my back pieces. I did see an imperfection on this fabric as well. Right here, I don't know if y'all can tell, but this is like brighter for some reason, as if it's been worn away or something. And I'm just frustrated because I feel like this year the quality of fabric that I have bought from various vendors has been trash. I don't know if like Prom is just blowing up more than it's ever blown up and they're just trying to make stuff faster, but I've never bought so many like bad fabrics since I started sewing as I have this year. Like, it's really bad. Y'all tell me in the comments if y'all have had the same issues, but this fabric is not the same quality as it's been before, and it costs more, so I really don't know what's going on.
She look like 90s R&B. Her friends like SWV. Took the weave out and left it short. They still look hella good to me. I'm your secret biggest fantasy.
Okay, so I have cut all my pieces out. I had enough fabric and I purposely bought extra so that I would be able to get a full godet out of my fabric instead of having to sew 2 pieces together just to save time. What I'm going to do now to also save time is I'm going to serge my lining fabric together with my godet fabric. Because I just needed them basted together so that the 2 pieces can function as one piece. I'm not really worried about, you know, whether the stitches are going to stick on the serging because they're going to get sewn together with a straight stitch and a zigzag stitch anyways, and that will be the part of it that secures everything. But for right now, I just need all of these pieces to be together as one. So I'm gonna quickly, hopefully quickly, it's 1:30 at this point. Cutting fabric is a job. Like, I'm tired, but I'm gonna quickly pin all these pieces together and serge them together piece by piece. So I am not going to record this process because my phone is really low on storage, and I do want to have enough storage left to be able to get the more important parts, but I'll show you what a serged piece looks like when I get through with this part. Okay, so it's hard for me to show exactly what's going on here because I'm trying to work on my desk and not get on the floor because my knees do not feel like being on the floor anymore. But I have pinned this one godet. I'm so excited about this because this is a nice full wide godet and it's really going to give the dress some circle action. I pinned the main fabric to the lining and I'm just going to trim off this excess since I didn't cut them at the exact same time. There's a little bit of a discrepancy. I'm going to trim that off and then I'm going to serge it around the entire big triangle. We can chill with everyone. I need someone intimate. So I serged the sides of my godet together. It looks so good. And the reason, remember, why I'm lining this is because I don't want the inside of the dress to be black when the split is open. But I didn't serge the bottom just to save time because I am going to be adding horsehair anyways. So I'm going to leave the pins there so it'll still be, you know, together like it's supposed to. But yeah. Let me just run back over this because some of this didn't connect. So I have laid the skirt out on the floor flat because I'm about to cut a portion out for the split. So the original skirt, I have the split right here, but I feel like that's no. I had the split like right here, but I feel like that's super high. So I'm gonna put it here. And so I'm basically going to So now I'm assembling the skirt. I'm taking my two back skirt pieces and pinning the godets into the side seams of the train. So one on each side. And then I'm just gonna go over to my sewing machine, sew it together, serge it together if you have a serger. And then once those are together, then you can pin the front piece to the sides of the two back pieces. I finished sewing the pieces of the skirt together. I just got home a few minutes ago. I had to go to Walmart and get more thread. Now I'm like questioning if the split is wide enough, but oh, it's gonna get stretched out once the dress is sewn up in the back, so that should be good. But yeah, I'm now about to, and this is what the inside looks like. Now I'm going to hem the split and do the horsehair, I guess, and then the last thing will be sewing the skirt to the bodice, and then the last thing will be sewing the appliques on. Oh, the zipper comes after I sew the bodice to the skirt. Then I'm gonna do the appliques. So yeah. Oh, and I forgot to update y'all on the time. It is now 6:22 p.m. Okay, I went ahead and put the skirt on the mannequin. And this is like I don't know what to call it. Iridescent. It seems like it's different shades of gold depending on how the light hits it. So I think that they'll be happy with it. I hope they'll be happy with it. Because it's not as gold as that one. That one's more yellowy gold. This one is more champagne-y. Okay, so now I'm going to add my horsehair to the hem. I always do horsehair like not as a finishing touch, like things that a lot of people do at the end of the sewing process. I like to do in advance, so that way I feel like I'm getting finished faster. Maybe I'm not, but that's how I like to do it. If you don't know how to do horsehair, I do have a tutorial that I will try to remember to leave in the description box. I am about to time lapse this and find something to watch while I do it. It's just a crush. It's just a love, baby, crush.
with a little boy. I wanna take her somewhere tough to cover, but she making up. She on the stage with everyone. Yeah, maybe she tough. Just cop the merch to show support. Hope she's kicking it up. All these years, I just say one thing.
Finishing up the dress now, I put in a hook and eye on this side. I gotta put the closure on the other side, but it's looking pretty good. And then the last thing that I'll have to do is add the appliques. So I'm gonna be adding these appliques, but I'm just trying to make sure I have the right ones. So I ordered these from Amazon, but it seems like some of them, and maybe it's in my head, I feel like this one is a little more yellow than this one. So we're gonna have a little applique up here, some on the waist area, some covering this, and one on the back. Her waist, all right, bust, 35, 29 and a half, and 40. What I'm doing now is a quick quality check to make sure that my dress matches the client's measurements. If you find that the dress is not, stretched out to your client's measurements, you're going to want to stuff it a little bit before you sew on appliques. It's 10:30, by the way. I finished getting the dress together at 10, and I don't know what happened in the last 30 minutes, but here we are. Look how pretty the bottom is. Isn't it gorgeous? I'm going to be using a curved needle. I found this at Hobby Lobby, a pack of 4, I believe, for $2. And I will be getting more because I already don't know where 2 of them are, so.
Thank you for wanting a verse from me. Apologies for the wait, sometimes it's hard to get the distractions up off you. For enough time to jot your thoughts, but fuck it, this morning I got to. I'm thinking about you. I heard you just had you another little baby. Congratulations. I hope you got through it with no complications. I find it amazing the way that you juggle your kids, the biz, the fame.
So it is 11:52. Finishing up pinning these pieces on so I can sew these down. I feel like I could be working faster. But at this point, it is what it is. I'm in the home stretch. I'm just about finished. And I feel so much better about this dress than I did about the other one. It was taking me a long time to, I think I worked on the other dress over a course of 4 to 5 days, and I still wasn't finished with it. And it was just like my gut was just telling me like something's missing, something's missing. And fortunately, I did take that long to complete it because I was able to catch the errors in what the fabric had going on. Because I really would not have wanted to send that dress home with anybody. But I feel so good about this dress. Like, it's high quality and it's worth what I charged for it. Maybe even more, but yeah. So I want to cut this applique because I just feel like this right here is extra. So I'm going to put some E6000 on the back of, or maybe I could wood burn it. I wonder if I wood burn it, will it turn black? Or I could maybe wood burn it from the back. I think I'm gonna do that. All right, y'all. Got my wood burning tool. And I'm going to cut off, I don't know. I wanna cut off like, I'm gonna start here. And maybe then I would curve this over a little. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna cut off this little cluster of 3 flowers right there, and then I'm gonna curve this over a little bit. I have my wood burning tool. It is on and hot. I do not recommend doing this like this at home, but I already have this pinned like literally exactly how I want it, and I'm not unpinning it. So it looks good. It's not burning or anything. Still looks good. Trying to go slow and also like make sure that, you know, I'm sealing the threads as well. So I don't want anything to unravel. So I don't want them burn marks. I just need to find my little scissors. Yeah, so I kind of want to tilt that way. Just so it looks a little bit more symmetrical, because this piece is not symmetrical. It's 1/2 of a pear, so if you're just sewing it by itself, it can look a little odd, but I think that looks a lot better. And I'm gonna go ahead and sew these down. I might put that right there. Maybe, we'll see.
Just hating, they sit around waiting for you to fall off like the album I'm making. But I hope that you taking a little time for yourself. Still in a moment or two to unwind between the hectic sounds of your precious baby crying.
So I'm getting ready to package the dress and take it to FedEx. I'm sewing a ribbon right here to help with the coat hanger, because I don't want there to be so much stress on the mesh if they decide to have the dress hanging. So I'm just hand tacking this in, and then I'll be ready to ship it. I already got my box put together, and I got my little goodie bag in here. Lashes, lash glue, lip mask, and what's it called, lip gloss, NYX lip gloss. And I got my dress bag from Walk, so she is ready to go. I already did my last minute quality checking, trimmed all the excess threads and stuff off, so it's literally ready to go.
You clear your mind, must be a lot going on. I hear it in all of your songs. Niggas been doing you wrong, family been doing you wrong. On days you feeling like you on your own, I wrote this for you to put on. Thank you for sharing your light, your voice, and writing a beautiful poem. Session 32, bring me to tears. Be getting choked up when I hear it. Seem like I keep crying off so much since I had these kids.
I just dropped my daughter off at a sleepover. It is 10:46 p.m. My client mama just called me from Sandy Springs, Georgia at 11:45 p.m. their time. And I answered real fast because why are you calling me so late? Is something wrong? Did the dress fall apart? Even though I knew the dress wasn't gonna fall apart, but that dress gave me some problems, so I didn't know what was going on and why she was calling me so late. She was like, I just had to call you right now and tell you, like, everybody was tearing up, everybody loved the dress.
In 2 miles,
she's on her way back from prom right now. She might not even want to take it off. She might sleep in the dress. And she was like, I just want to give you your flowers. And stuff like that makes it all worth it, because when I tell y'all, these Prom 2023 dresses been kicking my ass all up and down 288, like, whew, just to get the feedback from the clients that the dress was everything that they dreamed of makes it all worth it. Because it is about to be 11 p.m. and I'm heading back home to probably stay up all night yet again, hand sewing some appliques. I'm exhausted. I want a break. I want a vacation. I want to freaking decorate my house for the summer. Like, I've been doing nothing but working and I'm so tired, but it's paying off. Tomorrow I'm gonna just sit back. I already got pictures back from one client who went to prom tonight. The girl whose mom just called me. But then after that, tomorrow I'm going to take a little break after my last client leaves, and I'm gonna sit back and wait for the photos to come in, because all my girls are about to shut their prom down and I'm so excited. Okay, bye. Here's my client on her prom day. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed this process of me correcting a disaster and that it gave you a little bit of insight on how things can go wrong even when you do everything right during prom season. So you always got to stay on your toes. I'll see you guys in the next video.
I don't know what it is that made me so sensitive, more than I already was. Whenever I'm at, I'm back. I'm sending you this little audio hug, and hopes that you smile, forgetting the stress that piles from all the above. The more that we hurt, the harder we love. As soon as it's gone, we gotta re-up. It's just like a drug. If people knew half of the pressure, they know that it's hard to be her. I'm sending you SZA and Ari, my love. Y'all holding us down, y'all holding the crowns. You ever need something from me, don't hesitate, please. Just hit me and I'll be around. I'm gone.